Hi, it's Rob Moore here from Progressive Property. I'm with Trevor Cutmore. Trevor, this is everyone.
Hi, everyone.
Everyone, this is Trevor. So I'm really excited to be sat down with Trevor here again. I feel like I've got to know Trevor really well. He's become a good friend. He beats me at golf most of the time we play. Anyway, that's another story for another day. So, Trevor, how long have you been in the progressive community?
Since the end of 2008.
So we're talking 3 or 4 years now.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. And let's rewind back to pre-2008. Why did you want to get into property? Why did you want to get into the progressive community? And what things in your life did you want to kind of fix, if you like?
Okay. It's very simple. In 2006-07, I was with a business partner, a really good friend of mine, chartered accountant, and we wanted to change our lives. We wanted to start to look at passive income. We knew property was the vehicle to go. And we jumped in with 2 feet. We bought 5 properties very quickly, ran out of deposit, didn't really get a discount, and did it without education.
Sure.
And that was a nice, painful way to learn.
Yeah.
Came to a grinding halt. 2007-08 was a bit of a crash. We have negative equity in 4 of those properties, and there is pain. Mm-hmm. And like you've always said, Rob, you know, pain is a tremendous motivator, and I had to make a choice. We made a choice. Do we look to manage and learn from people who know how to do it properly, or do we go down the tubes? Well, we're both very positive people. We said, no, we're going to go and learn. You guys, to this day, I do not know how they got hold of me. You sent me an email, came along to a one day in London, liked what I heard, spoke to my business partner, and he actually paid for half of my training to come on.
Yeah, you JV'd on the training as
Absolutely.
well as the property. And you're still in business with this chap?
Yes, we are.
That's good. Okay, so for you, it was not done it the right way, wanted to, you know, I mean, because let's be honest, it's not just you. The crash changed lives for lots of people. I was just speaking to someone who's become a good friend and who's very well respected in the property industry now. And, you know, he went through a lot of troubles and he was one of the biggest guys before the crash. He's still here, which is good, but he said it's much harder now. So I always respect people who've managed to come through that. It's not just about being a newbie, and the fact that you've been able to evolve and reinvent yourself. So now let's fast forward to now. Let's have the quick, brief snapshot of Trevor Cutmore, what he's done, his portfolio, equity, cash flow, that kind of thing. So, you know, people, what can be achieved in 3 years through what you've done?
Right, well, we built up to, I think it was about 28 properties. We've sold some recently, just to downsize so we can sort of focus where we're going.
Did you sell some of the earlier ones that weren't working so well? So you've kind of restructured?
Yes.
And when you say we, you mean you and your business partner, but you're doing it? Or?
Yes. Yes,
okay,
absolutely. Yeah, he's a bit like you know, Mark, who wants to sit back, does all the figures. I'm the one who
Mark
goes
just counts all the money.
That's it.
Makes me go around the world doing
That's it. You know, so people come and say, you know, what are you making? And I say, well, I don't really know. I know it's going well.
Yeah. But if you were to guess, kind of monthly cash flow. I know you controls the accounts, but you must roughly know.
Oh yeah, I mean, look, now I should think we're sort of 50k a year in cash flow that comes in
after costs.
Yeah. If everything's behaving itself, that's it. But you know, there's things that crop up every now and then. The more you get, the more things crop up.
People are smart now, and they know that if you didn't say that, you wouldn't be telling the truth. So
absolutely.
I appreciate the honesty. Okay, so great. So you've become quite a specialist. I mean, many people watching the video will probably know you already. And I know you don't. So have you done a lot of your deals? I know you use your business partners' funds, but have you managed to do your deals kind of none of your own money down, JV partnerships? Do you want to kind of talk about that?
Yep. Well, coming in, what I've learned from Progressive, I learned many different strategies. What was really good for me is when I go and see a vendor, especially if I can get direct to vendor, I know that there's so many different ways I can buy. If I can get a good below market value, I will always buy that.
Sure.
And I know that I can always find people who've got the money who will go and buy that with no problem at all. However, doing the lease options, I love that. And the reason I love that, Rob, is because it helps both sides. It's win-win. Sure. And because of, you know, I want to be a philanthropist, and that's what I do as well. I love helping people. So that particular strategy I do like, and I have done quite a number of them.
Sure.
Even just recently, I've got one in Lincoln. It's I pay $364 a month in the mortgage payments, and the income will be at around about just under £2,000 a month.
Wow.
Gross. So that will net me over £1,000 a month comfortably.
Sure. And in that situation, you're also able to help a vendor out of a tricky situation.
Massively.
And you know, if I were watching this for the first time, because I think it's smart to be a bit skeptical, I would be kind of skeptical about those kind of figures and those kind of results. I think literally just about 9 days ago, Mark and I exchanged and completed on a property that we bought for 50,000 that is worth, in today's money, 95,000, was probably worth 120 before the crash. The reason we got that deal so cheap was because we actually helped the vendor, and we gave her a slightly lower rent, and we moved her into another property, and and helped her. And I know you're big on this, and people who don't know our industry might not know this, but when you're out there to help the vendor, and that's your main interest, to help the vendor, would it be fair to say, and would you agree, that you can make more money and you can really add value to the industry and the society you're in?
Absolutely. Look, the numbers I just gave you, this lady cannot rent her house out because it needs investment in order to bring it up to spec that she can rent. So I'm adding value to that house. And now we've got a good deal because
so it's almost like a JV in a way, joint venture.
Absolutely. I believe that a lease option is a joint venture with the vendor.
Sure.
You're coming in a relationship, which I like, long-term trust and building that rapport, and it's win-win for both sides. So she's happy going in, fully aware what the deal is. There it is, and on we go. And different, vendors want different things, and that's what I like. It's a blank piece of paper, Rob, and I'm sure that two people can always get to a place where they're happy and I'm happy.
Sure. Okay, great. So let's move forward even more, because one of the reasons I wanted to catch up with you, it's not just about people who've been doing it a year, who've gone from 0 to 10 properties and changed their lives. That's great. You kind of got to that goal quite a while ago, and you're very much regarded now as one of the more professional people who've been doing it a while. You train, you speak in front of hundreds of people at events. You're regarded as one of the top lease options guys. So just want to talk to everyone about that, because I'm sure when you got into property, if you were anything like me, you just wanted to buy houses, a bit of buy-to-let, maybe a bit of cash flow. You didn't realise the whole world there is in this business. And so just want to explain how that's changed your life.
Yeah, very much. When I came to the progressive community, I just want to learn how to buy houses effectively, quickly, and blown away with the strategies. It soon became apparent that there were other opportunities, which Rob and Mark approached me, and I became a mentor. Then there was an opportunity to become a trainer with them, and I trained with them. I've learned a huge amount. I've also done speaker training, and that has taken off now, Rob.
Sure.
In as much that I enjoy getting up on a stage, and when I started, those muscles used to pull me down. But and some of you know exactly what I'm talking about. However, I love it, and I love getting up on that stage. I love trying to, connect with people.
Talking about yourself all day, every day. People apparently say, I quite like that.
Well, it's
making money from it.
Yeah, absolutely. Why not? But again, to share information, to improve people's knowledge, and so they too can go and buy property the right way and not make the mistakes and painful mistakes that people make. And I hear about those mistakes every day. So, and I'm sure you do, Rob. But when we can go up and speak, we can go out. I think it's fantastic, and that side of my life is taking off. It really is. I'm invited to a lot of places around the country, which, especially the end of this year, I'm going to be pushing the button on that and going exponential.
Sure, which is great. And I know you're not, if people were to know you, they know you're a man of faith, and you are really about giving back. Some skeptical people might think, oh, that's not true, surely it's got to be for the money. You also like the money it brings, and you're not going to hide away from that, I'm sure. Yep. My personal opinion is, if someone goes out there and trains, we've got to give value, but you should be remunerated for that. Where are you going to be in a year from now? You'd have been doing this 4 years properly, 28 properties, sold a few, made some money, lease options, a lot no money down, joint ventures, 50 grand a year income. Where are you going to be in another year?
It's a good question. It's a really good question.
And I will catch up with you in a year, so we'll put it on camera.
Okay. Well, I am building a business in Birmingham with friends, which you've helped and advised me on, and that's really exciting, because the way forward for me is I would joint venture with an awful lot of people who are approaching me, but I am selective who I joint venture with, and so it's not with everyone. I'm very selective, because I've got to be able to have that trust and rapport. However, I have moved to London just about a month ago. I am looking at some specific opportunities. Do you want me to tell you about that?
Because keep it nice and sweet and short.
Okay, really sweet.
Go on. Give us a bit of the inside scoop.
Okay, this is a strategy which I'm looking at personally. I'm actually just started running, so I go out running in these streets.
I know what you're going to say.
And I look at the roof line, And if they haven't been developed, I think great. And in the road where I am, there's a refurbishment taking place across the road. £700,000 it's costing, and they're doing an underneath basement from the edge to the back. They're putting 2 bedrooms up in the top, and it increases that value by 1.2 million.
So you're going into kind of bigger scale development because you can make more money.
I've got 3 people who would bankroll the refurbishment, but I want to JV with the owner.
Sure.
So I can save them £75,000 on their estate agent fees on selling. I can house them for 6-7 months, even in a hotel in London. And not only that, I can actually give them a bonus of an extra £100,000 for their trouble.
Okay.
That sort of thing. So if you're selling your house, it could be worth £200,000 plus, and I can still make £500,000 profit.
Sure. And do you think that's the logical step? You know, you start with small houses, go maybe into more development, HMO, commercial. You know, you're looking at bigger scale things now because you've moved up the ladder.
Look, to be honest, there's a lot of people in that area. There's leaflets coming through every day, and I pick them up and store them. It's something that I would like to try. Will I get one? I hope so. If I get one in a year, it's going to be great. But it's using what's available to me. I'm in that area. I'm going to...
Because you've learned how to find JV partners.
I've got that sorted. So that side, it's ready.
Okay. So let's just move back to sort of buy to let again and property investing, because, you know, that might be a bit above some people.
Sure.
What would you say to someone watching this who's, you know, they like Trevor, they're feeling quite inspired, but they're scared, or they don't want to take the next step, or because I know you spent many years, you know, not taking that step. I know for some people, and by the way, there's no like sale here, but for some people, investing in their education is a big decision to make, and I totally understand that and I respect that. What would you say to those people?
Okay. Well, look, I absolutely agree. I understand where it is in stuttering along. Should I invest in my own education? Should I take the step? I am proof coming through, and I've stayed with you guys over 4 years now and invested a lot of money in my education because it's given me a good harvest. So my answer is invest in yourself. It's good ground, because when you invest in yourself and spend that money, you're going to use it to good effect.
Sure.
It really has made a difference in my life.
And do you think with what you've done in property and the training, you got that investment back and more?
And more. And I think that, you know, Rob, I always listen to a lot of Rob, what he said. And one thing you always said, Trevor, get perfect later. And so I really use these guys. I remember going into a place that this vendor asked me a question. I said, great question. Let me come back to you. I need to check something out first. I came out of that property. I rang up my mentor here and I said, help, what's the answer? I don't know. I was completely ignorant. But these guys walked me through it, and you learn. Whereas if you try to get perfect, you're going to mess it up and you won't do it. So take the step. Take the step.
Brilliant. Trevor, everyone, hope you've had a good time watching this video. Keep your eye out next week for another instalment from another Progressive community member. Actually, just before we do finish, community, because it's kind of the big thing now. The Progressive community, the community you have, how important is that? And what does it bring? What does it offer, being around other people who are doing what you're doing at every level?
Massive. Massive. To be in a room of single-minded people on the same track, because you go home, Rob, I remember if you're trying to do it on your own, you go home and your mates say, what you doing property? Yeah, right, in this. No one understood it. To come here once a month and be in a community, it was life-changing. So our friends have changed. I've started business with some of those people. I have fantastic, good relationships. I've actually helped joint venture with some of these people. So some of those friends, I managed to get £50,000 to them because they needed it, just through contacts. All of this builds your wealth, builds your network, and will change your life.
Okay, and that's a good place to finish. Thanks, Trev.
Thank you very much.